This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and it's my goal here on the podcast to introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. Our title sponsor is Community Matters, Inc. With nearly 20 years in the chamber industry and over 100 media awards presented to their chamber partners, Community Matters provides the R&R that every chamber needs, revenue and recognition. When it comes to publishing a chamber map, directory, or community guide, Community Matters has the trusted experience to help your chamber accomplish your goals. With different advertising sales models and publication styles, Community Matters will help you create a non-dues revenue machine. Let's hear from Becky Womble, President and CEO of the Bastrop Chamber, to hear about her experience using Community Matters.
I've been using Community Matters for probably 6 or 7 years now. And in a previous life, I sold commercial printing. So I can highly recommend Community Matters because it's a complete turnkey job for any busy chamber exec. Basically, you give them a membership list, and from there, they contact your members, and it's no high pressure sales or anything. And it really is a complete turnkey job from start to finish. And it's a wonderful, beautiful printed product whenever you're finished. And I'm very sold on Community Matters. And with a printing background, big endorsement for me.
To learn how Community Matters can support your chamber with your next publication, please visit communitymattersinc.com/podcast to request your free media kit and request a proposal to find out what kind of non-dues revenue you can generate. Our guest for this episode is Renee Earls. Renee has proudly served as the president and CEO of the Odessa Chamber of Commerce in Texas since 2016. A native of Odessa, Renee believes that she has the best job in town as she works alongside a team of staff and volunteers to promote her hometown community through special events, membership, economic development, and tourism. Renee is a graduate of Texas Tech University, where she obtained a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism. So I do have Renee on Zoom, and I see the guns up, so you guys can't see that necessarily. You got to do it, right? But she started her career as a reporter and morning anchor at the Odessa Midland ABC affiliate. Then she spent 14 years in the healthcare arena, serving as the communications marketing executive director for Medical Center Health System. After volunteering for the Odessa Chamber for decades and serving as their board chair, Renee was thrilled to take on the role full time. She also has what she calls her midnight job. In 1999, she and her husband became the fifth owners of the Odessan Magazine, a bi-monthly community publication, which has been in print since 1964. Renee has served on numerous boards locally, including the Odessa College and Ector County ISD Education Foundations, a nonprofit management center of the Permian Basin, United Way of the Junior League of Odessa. Renee serves as elder at Connection Christian Church. She is a board member for the Texas Chamber of Commerce Executives, having just completed the year as vice president of professional development and chair of the annual state conference, which was held in Odessa this last summer. For 2024, she will serve as the TCCE VP of Governmental Relations. Together with her husband, Rich, they have 3 grown children, 2 grandchildren, and her motto for a successful life is whatever thy hand finds to do, do it with all thy might. Renee, I'm excited to have you with us today on Chamber Chat Podcast. I'd love to give you a moment to say hello to all the Chamber champions that are out there listening and to share something interesting about yourself so we can all get to know you a little better.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to talk about what the Odessa Chamber does. You know, we're out here in West Texas, but as you mentioned, we hosted the State Chamber Conference this last summer, and we just had great feedback. You know, I'm blessed to be from this community, born and raised, left long enough to go to college and came back. And I honestly would not live anywhere else. And I'm a huge champion of my community. And I just encourage those who haven't been to West Texas in a while to come visit us, come see us. We have a lot of opportunities here. So
Absolutely. And I was at the TCCE conference and it was a success. You guys did a fantastic job. The venue and hosting and just everything about it was just fantastic. So great job.
No, I think one of the most important thing that we have in our community, we're an oil and gas community. So obviously the resources below the ground are what is literally fueling the world. But it's our people here who are just fantastic, very much roll up your sleeve, get the job done. We have a lot of grit. And you won't find better people than here in Odessa and West Texas.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So that's a little bit about Odessa. Tell us a little bit about the Odessa Chamber, just to give us an idea of the size of your staff, scope of work, budget, just that sort of thing to kind of set the table for our discussion today.
So our chamber is one of the few chambers left in the industry that actually is the three-legged stool. So we have the operations side, we have, the membership, the events, one of the programs that we're going to talk about today from the membership side of the office, the operations. We're also fortunate to have a contract with our city to run the economic development aspect of the community through our Odessa Development Corporation. So we have a economic development staff, and then we also have the tourism arm that we receive funding from the city through Hotel Motel. So as a total, we have a staff of 18 here in our chamber. And those are pretty well divided between those three departments. We also have a community foundation where we just focus on, just as it says, community projects, things that come up in the community. We have about 775 members. We're having our first membership drive in January for the first time in almost 20 years. And we are turning 90 in 2024. So we are looking to hit that 900 mark. And it would be fabulous if we went over the 1,000 mark. So that's kind of a little bit about our chamber. Our operations department itself is a little over $1.3 million in budget. So overall, we're about a $3.4 million chamber budget wise with the three departments.
Yeah, no, that's very good. That definitely helps give that perspective. And 90 years coming up, that'll be exciting, especially to cross that 900 threshold.
Absolutely.
That'll be huge. Yep. And I know it's there. I know you guys are going to do it. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Well, for our topic today, we kind of settled on the idea of talking about the new teacher program that you guys do there at the Odessa Chamber. I'm excited to dive into this, learn more about the kind of the unique aspect and approach you guys take to it. And we'll dive into this much deeper as soon as we get back from this quick break. Are you looking for a year-round, affordable, and timely shop local campaign for your chamber or CVB? Look no further. Build a custom Eat, Shop, Play mobile app with App My Community by visiting appmycommunity.com/chamberchat. App My Community mobile apps are not just simple membership directory listings. They provide many more capabilities to engage with your community. Provide your residents with a robust events calendar. Partner with a local fair, festival, or farmers market to provide a schedule, map, and other resources to promote the event. Run a small business Saturday campaign any time of the year using built-in scavenger hunts. Allow your membership to communicate directly to their customers via push notifications. Your App My Community mobile app will be a unique member benefit, allow you to generate non-dues revenue with sponsorship opportunities, and best of all, provide a valuable resource to your community. Please visit appmycommunity.com/chamberchat now to receive 10% off your first year of an App My Community mobile app. Exciting news! Introducing Piply by Chamber Nation, the innovative solution to manage and promote your community for unstoppable growth. Joining the Chamber of Commerce means one thing: commerce. Businesses want to thrive, and Piply is here to make that happen. With Piply, your members can experience remarkable benefits even if they can't attend events. It's a game changer for retention. Say goodbye to ordinary directories and embrace a transformative commerce management system. Unlock the true power of commerce management. Picture a centralized Piply dashboard combining top mobile technologies for subscriptions, event registration, community communications, and more. It's incredible. Don't miss out. Visit pippily.com to learn more. That's pippily.com. Schedule your demo at richardscalendar.com. It's affordable and delivers more. Pippily by Chamber Nation. Your community's future starts now.
Hi, it's me, Donna from Yiftee. Have I mentioned that we're working with chambers and other leaders on community cards in more than 500 cities across the U.S.? Yiftee is the undisputed leader in community cards because we did it first and have learned a lot, and because it's free for you to set up and free for your members to participate. Plus, we do all the heavy lifting for you. Many chambers have chamber checks or other similar programs. Imagine the benefits of those without the extra costs of staffing, creating and tracking checks, and reconciling payments. Community cards are all digital, sold online, and always available on the cardholder's cell phone. We provide tons of training and marketing materials. Come check us out at yiftee.com, Yiftee.com, or email sales@yiftee.com. Back to you, Brandon.
All right, Renee, we're back. As we dive into the discussion today about your new teacher program, I guess, first of all, do you guys is it branded with a certain name? And just answer that one first, I guess.
Event that we host right before school kicks off in end of July, first part of August. We call it our new teacher reception. It's been a breakfast, it's been a tailgate party, it's been a reception. So it's basically just a big party for our new teachers with our school district.
I love it. So I guess let's just start at the beginning, the origins. How did this program come about? What was the need? Was it presented to you guys? Did you guys come up with the idea? Just tell us how this became, how it started, and how it's evolved.
Sure. So we were actually approached by one of the superintendents at the time, just a little over a decade ago, maybe 12 years ago. The chamber was approached about hosting something new for teachers coming into the market. The Odessa market is somewhat unique in that at one time, we had between 300 and 400 vacancies for teachers. We're talking in like June, before school started. So that is a huge number. And so we obviously wanted to do something that made them really, learn about the community. And most of those were coming from out of the area. The district was recruiting, Ector County ISD was recruiting from not only all over the country, but they also bring in teachers from different parts of the world. And we wanted them to learn about Odessa. We wanted to connect them with our businesses. We wanted to just thank them for taking on a profession that is, probably one of the most valued, most important professions, teaching our students, our future, our workforce. So the superintendent came to us and said, let's do something. So we came up with, at the time, a new teacher breakfast. So we brought them into our big, what we would call our Coliseum, a big event center. And it was like a pep rally. We had the students out there, the cheerleaders and the band and the mascots, and they would come in and, they ran under the tunnel, and it just really set the tone for the school year. They would come in. There are, 50 to 60 booths from our chamber members, because when they come into town, they need a bank. They need an insurance salesman. They need to find a place to go get their hair cut. They need a dry cleaners. They need to get their nails done. They want to go shopping. I mean, all the things that a person, when they move to a community, they need. So it was a win-win. The teachers felt wonderful. They left there with literally bags full of goodies. We were giving out door prizes, TVs, cash rewards, gift cards. The vendors that we had were just giving away incredible gifts. And breakfast. And we had speakers. We had, of course, our superintendent. We had our mayor. We had our county judge. We had our state representative. All the leaders in the community welcoming these teachers. Again, some coming from far away, some coming from, the area, or maybe they lived here and were going back into the field. I remember one gentleman told me, this was about 5 years into it. He said he had literally driven his car from out of state moving to Odessa. And he had literally driven into the parking lot that morning. And this was his first impression of
Wow.
So, and through the years, after COVID hit, we couldn't have an indoor breakfast, but, we're still having school. We still have new teachers coming in. So we went to the famous Ratliff Stadium, which is known for Friday Night Lights. We're the Friday Night Lights community. We go to Ratliff Stadium and we had a tailgate. So they literally would drive through the parking lot to the vendors and, had their windows down, and they were throwing stuff in their bags that we would give them. And again, it was just a lot of fun. We gave them food, we gave them coffee, and they never got out of their car. And the cool thing about that is many of them had their kids and their families in the cars with them. So even though COVID had hit, we did that for a couple of years and it worked out great. So once COVID was over and we could go back inside, we did the tailgate in the morning. It rained. We did the tailgate in the afternoon. It was really hot. So we said, we're going to go back indoors. So we went back to the Marriott where, we have a beautiful new hotel. We wanted to show that off. We had a beautiful reception with lots of food. And again, going through the booths. This last year, we had it at one of our other hotels here, the Fun Dome, a little larger. And it's a fun time. We give out incredible prizes. And the district really, they really encourage those new teachers to come in. They've had 2 days of training and they end up their training time at our event. And our members love it because it gives them an opportunity to see, 400 people in a 2-hour time span and get their product and their information in front of them. And it just really kicks off the school year with a fantastic culture and attitude.
Yeah, I love it. So what a great way to welcome these teachers into a new community it sounds like a lot of them, it's a new community for them. Let's talk a little bit about the logistics of it, right? So you'd mentioned vendors a few times. So I anticipate that they're paying to have a booth of some sort. They're sponsoring the program somehow. So kind of walk us through, what does that look like as far as the logistics of, obviously you're serving food of some sort, whether it's a breakfast or dinner or whatever, something at this reception. So there's moving parts to it. So kind of walk us through what that looks like.
Any chamber professional knows that the leading up, there are hours of planning, and then you have this 2-hour event. It's kind of like a wedding. You plan and plan and plan and plan, and then it's over. We do have sponsors for this. We have a program, our platinum sponsors, where they, at the beginning of the year, they commit to sponsoring every event we have. So we have about 25 of those. So they're premier sponsors of that event. And then we also have presenting sponsors at like $1,000. We probably have 10 or so of those. And then we have breakfast sponsors at about $500, and we might have about 10 of those. And depending on where we have it, obviously, if we have it at a hotel, they're responsible for we're purchasing the food from them, from the catering.
Yeah.
We have one particular credit union that since we've started, every year they get, a very nice Yeti style mug. They fill it up with either, if it's breakfast, they're doing a great coffee setup with every kind of flavor you can imagine. They probably have 10 or 15 of their staff members. They have aprons. It's a huge deal for them. And that everyone wants to go to that booth. In fact, a couple of times they've run out because everybody goes. It's the first booth people want to go to. In the afternoon, they're filling it with, different flavors of tea from HTO. So these vendors they're either a sponsor, a breakfast sponsor, or they can just purchase a booth space. I think we've gone from, about $200 to $300 for the booth space. And we have the draping, we provide the table, a couple of chairs, and they come in and dress that booth up almost like a business expo.
Yeah.
And basically that's what it is, because they're going up and down rows to learn about these different industries. We give them a piece of paper to encourage them to go to every one. And so once it's complete and they've seen it, they're putting their name in a big drawing. So there's a lot of logistics to it. But again, our members love it. We start promoting it several months in advance, and we fill up. And honestly, we're running out of space. So,
Yeah.
but it's a great opportunity. It's a lot of fun.
I think it is a great opportunity when you have, like you mentioned, 300 to 400 new teachers coming in, to be able to match them up with local businesses in the community. So I think that's so key when you're new to a community and you're looking to get established in a new community. You need a place to bank. You need an insurance person. You
Absolutely.
need a physician. You need a dentist. All these different things to get established in the community. So being able to help match them up with those, chamber members that are vendors or sponsors of the program, I think is
and
such
that's the benefit of being a chamber member too. We have other groups who will come in and say, well, we want to have a booth. Well, you're not a chamber member. So that encourages them to become a chamber member. I will say Chevron has been our host, our major sponsor from the get-go. And every year we give the teachers a really nice special gift. For years, we were giving them something that they would put in the trunk of their car. It was like a trunk holder. And, it's like a cloth bag. It had the Chevron logo. It had the ECISD logo. It had our logo. We did that for years. And we listened to the teachers this last year because they said, many of our teachers are going from classroom to classroom, and they drag along that little,
yes, the little
wheeled
tote thing.
cart.
Yeah.
So we got them a wheeled cart that had the logos on it. And, they love that. And again, they just filled it up. And we've had teachers, post on social media. They're getting all these awesome items. And many of our vendors will do things that they can utilize in their classroom, supplies, because we all know teachers are having to go and spend money out of their own pocket for supplies. And so many of our vendors will just fill them up with things that they can use in their classroom. And, these teachers come to us and they're emotional and they're just so thankful. And it's a great feeling. And we would encourage other chambers to do this. In the chamber industry, we have that very important R&D that we talk about, which is rip off and duplicate. We want everyone to rip off and duplicate this program because it's great. It's an easy way to really promote your members and make these teachers in such an important profession feel good.
Yeah. I love the idea of the wheelie tote, right? So it's got your logos on it. They're going to use it every day. It's being seen every day. All the other teachers are using them versus something that sits in their trunk and nobody's ever going to see. And it serves a purpose and it's a great gift, but to be able to have that win-win, all the way around, I love that. And then just to be able to see the involvement that the chamber has with the schools. My wife actually works at our kids' elementary school, and not as a teacher, but front office. And through COVID, the kids weren't allowed to drink out of the drinking fountains, right? So there was a realtor, local business realtor came, and he brought 2 pallets of water bottles to the school.
Wow.
So the kids all had water bottles. I don't know how many months that lasted, but
that's awesome.
So just to see that involvement whether it's a business or the chamber getting involved with the schools, everybody notices, they're appreciative. They see, they're grateful that somebody cares about them and providing tools and resources that they need. So important. And I know you guys are very connected with your local school district there. A while back, we had Chris Mead on the show, and he talked about the Pen Pal program that you guys started with Odessa, Ukraine.
Yes.
Do you want to take a moment and just kind of tell your point of view and story on that?
So Chris Mead, this was a fabulous idea that he had. He reached out to me and he had some connections there in Odessa, Ukraine, and they are, our sister city, if you will. And he just had this wonderful idea to connect students in Odessa, Ukraine with students in Odessa, Texas. So we got a hold of our school district. They then put us in touch with, I believe, some of the social or history teachers. And so those teachers and those students started literally writing back and forth. Some of them had Zoom meetings back and forth. And it was just amazing to see these students from 2 different worlds connect. And at a time when things were so volatile in Odessa, Ukraine, and they just really needed to hear from others that they were supporting them. And The art of writing is really gone as well.
Yeah.
The pen pal program. I mean, that's just not something, people don't write personal notes anymore. And we saw those students do that, and the teachers loved it. And again, that all goes back to Chris Mead and the idea that he had. So kudos to him.
Yeah. Well, and what I love about that is a program like that doesn't happen unless you already have that relationship with the school district, and just the lives that are being touched on both sides, both here in Odessa, Texas, and there in Odessa, Ukraine. Lives are being touched, stories are being shared, they're being enriched, by each other. And it's all facilitated by having those relationships through things like this, through the new teacher welcome program and building
Absolutely.
that goodwill.
That's what chambers are all about, are about relationships. And we're so fortunate to have very healthy relationships with our educational partners, either it be our school district. We just recently our community passed a bond for our school district, and our chamber really got behind that as far as endorsing it, in just that, one, we wanted people to go to the polls and vote because we've seen such voter apathy, not very many people, going to the polls. So we encouraged a very active voting awareness program. But also, these again are our future workforce. These students who are in school today will be working for us. They will be our bosses. They will be running these companies in this community. And we have to have a strong education program, be it the ISD. We have private members here that are private schools. We have charter schools, and then of course our community college and our university. We are so fortunate to have really good programs and partners with our education
Absolutely.
industry.
So it's so important. I love it. And I appreciate you highlighting, this new teacher program or reception, new teacher reception. I'd love to give you an opportunity for any chambers listening who want to take their chamber up to the next level. What tip or action item might you offer to them to consider maybe implementing at their own chamber?
One thing I think that is so valuable is just talking to other colleagues in the chamber industry. Find out what other chambers are doing. Find out what will work in your community and make it your own. We talked about this new teacher program at a Texas Chamber conference probably 5 years ago, just highlighting what we do in a room of about 100 people, and it was almost like speed dating. You find out a program that's working in a community, you get some info on it, and you go to the next person. Well, we all got 5 to 10 ideas that day, and I think it's so important to just find out what other groups are doing. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find out something that you can take in your community and make it your own. And again, those relationships are so valuable, and not only the relationships with our own members and our own community, but with colleagues throughout the state and the country and what's happening. And just like listening to your podcast, people get so many ideas and can again take that into their own chamber and make it work for them.
That's the idea. That's the hope. Everybody listens, gets those ideas, and then takes what may be valuable to their own community and implement it and do their R&D and
Yes.
be a successful chamber, right? Well, Renee, I like asking everyone I have on the show, as we look to the future of chambers, how do you see the future of chambers and their purpose going forward?
Chambers have really changed a lot. Membership organizations in general have changed over the many decades. We're not your grandmother or your grandfather's chamber anymore, and we can't think that way. We can't act that way. I think it's so important that, because we are a membership-based organization, if you look at any chamber's budget anymore, a large portion of your budget is not tied to actual memberships, because we've had to think of other ways to be successful and to create dollars for different programs. So I see, the chamber is a major part of any community, or at least it should be. Our chamber is fortunate in that we're built on 90 years of just incredible volunteers who have served prior to us. and have made our community what it is. And it's so important for us to, I tell people, for an organization that's supposed to be non-political, chambers are political. We work with all members. We work with all leaders, regardless of our party affiliation, or regardless of how we feel on certain issues. We all have to get along. We all have to. Our goal should always be with our community in mind. And I think for any chamber to thrive and continue to grow, is we have to continue to build those relationships, continue to meet in the middle, if you will, and just be the community cheerleader that talks about all the things that are happening in community, good and bad.
Yeah.
But be the person in the middle who can bring the people to the table to have a respectful conversation about how your community can grow. Be the liaison, be the one who pulls everyone, the collaborator who pulls everyone together.
Absolutely. Yeah. Chambers are political, but hopefully not divisive like politics typically are. You're bringing them to the middle. So I love that point, and showing that role that chambers have in the future of being that sane center and helping to be at the table and bring parties together to be able to come to a common goal and moving your community forward. So I love that. Well, Renee, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share any contact information for anyone listening who might want to reach out and connect and learn more about the new teacher reception or anything else you guys are doing there in Odessa. What would be the best way for someone to reach out and connect?
Well, we would love to hear from you. Again, I think it's so valuable for chamber professionals to connect with each other. So you can always reach out to us on our Facebook, Odessa Chamber. Make sure it's Texas. There are a couple of chambers throughout the country, Odessa Chambers. You can always, email me at Renee, RENEE, at odessachamber.com, and reach out to us here at the chamber, 432-332-9111. We'd love to visit with you, put you in connection with any of our staff on any of our programs that we're working on, and follow us on social media. Again, I think we have to support each other as chamber professionals and just rely on each other to work us through. Chamber profession is, as we said at the beginning of this, I feel like I have the best job in the community because I get to promote the chamber in my own community. But chamber work is hard. Chamber work is stressful. We're working with a lot of personalities and a lot of people, a lot of volunteers. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be doing anything else. It's the peak of my career that I've enjoyed every minute of it. And take time for yourself and rely on each other to see what's working and what's not.
I love it. So we will get your contact info in our show notes so people can pull that up and connect with you. But Renee, this has been so much fun having you on the podcast and learning more about the new teacher reception and the relationship you guys have with your local school district there, and appreciate your example and willingness to be with us today and providing all this value for us. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you so much for giving the chambers a voice and for all of us to be able to learn from each other through the programs that you do. And thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to highlight great things happening here in Odessa, Texas.
If you are a chamber professional, please subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. When you subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast, new episodes will show up in your podcast app each week as they are released. If you're finding value in this podcast, please leave us a rating and a review in iTunes. But most importantly, please share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues that are in the industry.